Some people collect stamps, others have a passion for rare coins. A Catholic priest wants all that and more with one string attached. The items must be associated with the popes of the Catholic Church. Father Richard Kuntz started his passion for collecting when he was a high school senior and received an autograph from President Jimmy Carter. In time, he had the signatures of 16 American presidents. But when he won in an auction the autographs of St. John the 23rd and Pope Paul VI, his interest in all things pontifical took off. His website, Papal Artifacts, shows what he has acquired. And earlier today, I spoke with Father Kuntz in his home diocese of Duluth, Minnesota. Father, I've been exploring the Papal Artifacts website all morning. You have coins, you have documents, you have relics, you even have zucchettos. How do you come about the items that you include in your fantastic collection?
Well, this is a lifelong work of mine outside of the priesthood. I call it my lifelong work. And basically I have connections all over the world, and the internet obviously has made this all possible. But every day I scour the internet for different obscure websites, mostly European, and then by doing that for many, many years, I've actually made a lot of good contacts. And so a lot of people actually contact me first before they put it on auction or before they put it for sale.
Now, it must be very difficult, I would imagine, for you to choose which discoveries have a profound influence on you. But are there a few that you can tell us about that that's been like the wow factor for you? Like, I cannot believe I can add this to my collection.
Yeah, I've got a number of items that I would put into that category. I would say certainly the lead seals that held the conclave, sealed the conclave for the election of John Paul II. I've got the entire set of seals from that conclave. That's certainly one of the big things. I mean, there's so many different things. I've got a document from St. Pius V that he's writing to the Senate of Milan, asking them to support St. Charles Borromeo in suppressing the religious order, the Humiliati, which is a very historic document. The chasuble of John Paul II that he wore at the closing of World Youth Day Denver, 1993. And St. John Vianney's breviary. I got one of his breviaries, one of the volumes of his breviary. There's countless things I could just keep going on.
Father, it's enough to say that this is kind of like a walk through history, and it is absolutely fascinating. Let's bring it to the present now and talk about the current Pope. You say that you're a student of the papacy, of
Sure.
papal history. Talk to us about the Holy Father, who's already left a lasting impression on us to this day.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Pope Francis has. I've referred to people when they ask me. I refer to Pope Francis as the best PR the Church has had in a long time. And
yes.
So, I mean, he really has captured the imagination of the world, not just Catholics, but the world. And so that is something that we've desperately needed, obviously, as we've had some challenging times in recent decades. And so it's going to be fascinating to see how he goes down in history and see what else he has up his sleeve, because who knows?
Now, you look for contributions, obviously, and we can't leave this interview without talking about Laudato Si. Will that become part of your collection? Do you add to the collection these artifacts that are so new to us right now?
Only if they've been signed. You know, if I get a copy that's signed by the Pope, that would be. Otherwise, I mean, my collection is not just, not books, unless the books were owned by the Pope or were signed by the Pope, or a saint. And so I don't necessarily collect their documents that aren't signed or something. So the collection is that. The collection is things that have a direct connection to the person.
So of course I can't escape the fact that you did visit the Vatican not long ago and got a very special gift from Pope Francis himself, signed, as you said. Talk to us about that, please.
That's right. That was a great experience. That was just this past April, late April, April 29th, actually, and I had an opportunity to have a prima fila ticket, which is basically means the first row. And so it was my fourth attempt at doing this, and I finally got in to be able to meet the Holy Father. And I'd had in my mind for various attempts at that in the past, which never worked, to have him sign a baseball. And so he came up, and it was my turn to greet him, and I handed him a copy of the DVD of my television series on EWTN called The Papacy Living History. After I handed that to him, then I handed him the baseball with the Sharpie pen and asked him if he would sign it, and he had no problem signing it. And so is a great piece that I got personally from him. A signed baseball.
A signed baseball. I think that's amazing. Father, you're in a very ideal position in that you are a student of papal history, so you can see where we've come from so many years. The Pope visiting the United States in just a couple of months. What are your thoughts about that?
It's going to be crazy. I mean, my sister lives in Philadelphia, and she's asked me if I want to come out there and try and get to meet him. I said, absolutely not. It'd be crazy to go out there. I mean, it'd be great for the experience, but you know, I mean, I just met people, so I'm not going to go and try and do that. But it's, you know, whenever we have a Pope visit the United States, the last one was in 2008, Pope Benedict, it's a big deal. And John Paul, I think 5 times. That's off the top of my head. I might be wrong on that, but it's always going to be interesting to see how the media, the secular media, responds. They'll always try and find something negative, of course. They'll come up with some,
sure.
You know, I'm sure the priest pedophile thing, or angry people about church teaching on various things. But the fact is, it always emboldens the Catholic population.
All right, Father Kuntz, you give us a great gift, Curator of Papal Artifacts. We really appreciate it, and I appreciate your talking with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.